Anything is possible because we the North, baby. Game 7 tonight. We saw our Raptors fly out to Cleveland over the weekend all over Instagram. And speaking of flying, we have such a gross story. It's 2017.
What if I was your boss and you worked at an airline and you were a flight attendant and I said, Dina, you know what? If you don't get into a size 14 and you don't lose some weight and gussy yourself up, we're going to cut your salary.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's actually happening.
Aeroflot, which is a throwback to the Soviet Union, you know, but it's still very much an airline. It's the airline of Russia. They say they want their flight attendants to be pretty. They said they did a survey on flights and said that one of the things that people wanted was pretty flight attendants.
Really?
So,
as opposed to like service, food, meals, efficiency,
yeah.
Great seats. At the top of the list.
They say it's a selling point. So women were photographed, measured, and weighed.
Weighed and measured.
And said that if if you didn't meet a Russian size 48 or a size 14,
US 14,
you would be yanked from international routes. In other words, your salary would be really put down.
600 of them affected. Many of them have had their salary lowered due to their clothing size as a punishment. And notice there's no mention of men. Do they not? Is it their policy to not have male flight attendants?
I don't know.
And if so, are they under the same rules?
But it's men making these rules too. And they have now the airline itself is trying to distance themselves from it, but their advisory board is saying no, this is what people want.
This is body shaming at its worst. Now here's the thing: if they were to come through and say, oh, we're doing this because our planes are smaller and physically you can't fit in or there's a weight between the passengers and the luggage, that's one thing.
When you go back many years into the 40s, 50s, and even into the 60s, airplanes were smaller. There was a lot more worry about weight. There actually were requirements that airline attendants couldn't be over a certain height, and they had to be a certain weight, but it was more a safety requirement.
That's right. No, here they're actually owning up to their shallow narcissisticness by saying, oh, no, survey says you want really cute flight attendants in whatever, you know, body ideal we consider to be the prettiest, which is absurd. I hope that the ladies win this lawsuit.
Yeah, so they are
all
appealing
600
against
of these flight attendants.
They are appealing against the airline because they lost their first case against the airline. Said no, you still have to do this, but different laws, different values.
If you're a flight attendant, write us if you've ever actually dealt with anything like this at BT Toronto. I'm curious, male or female.